There are two levels of teachings or textual sources, if you look. There is the one that is the pith or the essence, which doesn't make any disparaging remarks or have any kind of a biased outlook to women and potential women. It's actually quite the reverse, both within the Mahamudra and the Dzogchen traditions. But then you see through the centuries and the literary works of scholars and masters, and they have their own opinions because they're brought up in that society. They're brought up. Now, a lot about, may I not be born as a woman is a very common statement that is there in many of the Buddhist prayers, which really shock people who come into Buddhism thinking it's all one truth and unbiased compassion and selflessness and egolessness, and then they do find that discrimination there. Women find it very jarring in the icons and in the literary works. They do find it very, very jarring, very, very sort of disrespectful and discouraging in many situations. But you have to then also look at it from the perspective that these are literary works and interpretations of an individual's perspective. And I have never allowed that to be any kind of a blockage. I have gone to my teachers, especially my father, complaining about, look, this is what you all have been writing about women, and how come is this not contradictory to just the other day's teachings that you have been giving? And Rinpoche would laugh about that. And Rinpoche would say, ultimately Dharma is the view, and you have to look at it. You have to examine, you have to think about it, you have to let that mull over in your own mind and experience, and then make a decision based upon your own understanding rather than what somebody is trying to tell you. And that's been tremendously helpful for me. I these days take it with a little bit of understanding or sort of relaxed attitude or humor, let's say, sometimes, and see it as an individual's interpretation, not necessarily the Buddha's words. When His Holiness Dalai Lama says he will return as a woman and that it will be possible, I think it should be seen as a great message for women and for men who might have that question. I have always said that this is the immeasurable kindness of His Holiness and his realization through which he's able to proclaim this. But on the other hand, those of us who listen to such a thing have to be very pragmatic about it. The institution of the Dalai Lama and who he is and manifests as must never be limited to being an answer to only one question. A Dalai Lama has limitless responsibilities and activities that must reach out to greater goodness. And if that greater goodness can be achieved by his coming back as a woman, wonderful. And if, however, it is not timely, we can wait.